today there is one question mark I have, and that is on this Chicago Bulls bet.
Okay.
It's unlike you to bet on an away team laying 7.5 points, especially the Chicago Bulls, regardless of who they're playing. I imagine this one has some people talking this morning. What you're thinking on this one, JB?
Well, yeah, that's right. I am on the Chicago Bulls here today. Now, I think you might be able to find 6.5 if you live in Las Vegas, but I don't think anyone else will. It's fine to lay 7 here. That's a big drop-off point there. That 6.5 moving to 7 is a pretty big deal, but I think it's fine to do that. This is a division matchup today, which plays a big part of this bet, but I don't think pro-level bettors should pass this one up. We know Detroit is tanking, and they're not afraid to let the world know. They're not trying to mask what they're doing. We know that tanking teams will benefit the most from losses against their own division and against their own conference. We see that the Pistons are the worst team not only in their division, but in the entire Eastern Conference with an overall record of 12-35. The Pistons are the worst team in the NBA against their own division and conference. Their record playing their own division is 0-6. That's straight up. Against the spread, they covered one time back on Halloween when the Bucks were giving them 13.5 points. Against their conference, the Pistons are 4-21, which is not only the worst record for a team in the Eastern Conference, it's the worst record for any team in the entire NBA and among the worst for any team in history. The only team that loses at these levels is a team that's trying to lose at these levels. In other words, a team that's tanking. Against the spread, the Pistons covered only 8 times out of 25 games against the East. Against their division, remember, they covered only once out of 6 games, which is a 16.7% winning percentage. I guess, Ross, this means we can say that we have a fixed game to tell everybody about. That we're going to be betting on a fixed game today.
Well, that's what it is, I guess.
Today we are officially betting on a fixed game. Most likely, the Pistons are no doubt throwing these games. That's what tanking is.
Wow.
It's deciding beforehand that you're going to do the opposite of what you tell the world about a sporting event.
That's what it is.
You're going to intentionally lose instead of try to win. While we can never be successful 100% of the time when we try to win, we can be successful 100% of the time when we try to lose. And that's the problem, right? Now, I don't have any special inside information from the Pistons indicating that they have a strat, or anyone else, indicating that there's a strategy today to lose this game specifically. But there comes a time when you should be able to read the writing on the wall. We know they benefit more from losing against their division. They're 0-6 against their division.
Wow.
It should also be very telling, Ross, that tanking is what they're doing when you consider their record against the Western Conference. They don't benefit from losing those games as much.
Right.
So they reserve all their planned losses for their own conference and division. Indeed, against the Western Conference, against the spread, the Pistons are the 4th winningest team in the entire NBA. No, I'm sorry, in the Eastern Conference.
You don't say.
And the 7th winningest team in the entire NBA with a cover rate of 57.1%. It is notable that when the Pistons lose division games, this means games specifically against Milwaukee, Indiana, Cleveland, and Chicago, they lose by an average margin of loss of 13.7 points. Nearly twice as much as other tanking teams in the NBA. That's when those other teams lose against their division.
Right.
So laying 7 points on the road here is forgiven because we're not talking about a normal scenario. So I don't think the normal guidelines apply. I'm not even sure what we're talking about is sports handicapping. It's something we can make money off of, and I'm happy to bring that to everyone's attention. But I don't know what you'd call this. It's a totally different kind of strategy than a normal bet would be on a normal game where there's actual legitimate competition. I don't know that any of the athletes or team stats even really matter. I mean, we've taken a look at them. I don't think it matters. There is no true competition going on here.
Right.
I assume we could get wrong the Pistons' right?
0-6,
Are we
right.
going to sit here all season and watch the Pistons predictably fail to win every single game against their division and not bet on one single one of those games?
Not me.
Are we supposed to just let this pass by?
Not me.
Not me. My money's down on the Bulls.
Mine too.
And so go Bulls, I guess, although the Bulls don't really need to go. I mean, they just need to go. They need to show up. I don't think much cheering is needed or especially appreciated.
Right.
This is a predetermined, fixed game. Glad to do it. Glad to bet on it. And you should be betting on it too.